Welcome, friends, to this second part of today's program, second session. I'm very happy to see you again. In the morning session, I described to you how we can start our journey on our way to our true home. And I led you in great detail up to the causal stage and told you how we change our costumes and we leave our outer costumes behind and we get closer and closer to our own self and we make our way to the universal mind. I did not tell you what we'll do after that. I just mentioned we can go beyond because the methods we employ to go up to the causal plane do not apply after that. Meditation cannot take us any further. Don't forget what is meditation. It's a physical process on the body, closing eyes. When you have no eyes, how do you meditate? When there's no body, how do you meditate? We repeat words of mantra, Simran. There is no language, how do you repeat words? What we call meditation is limited in its scope. And nobody has been able to do any kind of meditation and gone beyond the mind. There is no way. There is no technique available to use your methods to go beyond the mind. The mind can put an effort to push forward, but when there is no mind left and we are going beyond it, that doesn't work. You must be curious that how do we go to our true home? I'll tell you tomorrow. I have to keep something for the agenda for tomorrow. I'll talk to you about the method of going beyond the mind. And that is the key to understand how the perfect living masters work. They teach you that method which no meditation can achieve. So I will come to that tomorrow. But just to start with, it may be a good idea for us to practice the very first step, which I said the very first step is to be behind the eyes in this body. Let's try it out. You all agreed to do meditation, and let's have a little practical experience of it. I will guide you to the extent I can, but the rest will be your own experience. So, first step is to consider that this is not your body, this is not yourself, but a house you live in. That requires some imagination too. That this is a house in which you live, and you live in the top story here. And the rest of these stories are meant for working out your programs, dealing with the world, and dealing with energies and so on. But right now you are interested in finding out yourself, where you live, and that's in the 6th floor. So, when you close your eyes, imagine this is your house you're living in the 6th story of your house, the 6th floor of your house. There is a nice floor here. And you have to make it very realistic. Just thinking it's the 6th floor in my house is not enough. You have to make a floor like a strong floor, made of bricks or steel or what. It should be very, very rigid, strong floor. And I'm saying so because I know during this exercise, people tend to sink down in the floor. If it is a cottonwood floor, you will sink down. And the moment you sink down, your attention is gone into half sleep state. And do you know that a lot of people sleep during meditation? I mean, we have done that. I'm no exception. I remember I was doing a meditation workshop once in Bruce, Wisconsin, and I was telling people how to put your attention there and not go to sleep. After a while, I could hear myself snoring, and I opened my eyes. Everybody was staring at me. Of course, I turned it around by saying, this is an example of what happens. But what's the reason? Why is the reason that when we meditate, tendency to sleep increases? Because we sleep every night, and every night the attention goes down. Every night it happens. We're used to it. That is why when we try to meditate, that tendency comes up. So to remain alert, to be alert and conscious of your own self being awake, you have to be careful that this floor, sixth floor, is a strong floor, and you can thump upon it inside. See that's strong enough. Reinforce it if necessary, so that you don't dip down at all from there. And second point is that it should be attractive. Why would you like to go to an empty room and say it's my meditation chamber? That's not what you do. You put candles, you put incense, you burn incense, you treat it like a temple, you treat it like your worship room. If outside we are making worship rooms, why not make it inside also? So we should decorate it, and decorate beautifully. Today you can put the best drapes in that house. You can put the best furniture you like. Pick up the best chair for yourself. All free today. No money to be spent. Only attention, only imagination. Once you use imagination, it's a lovely place to be in. You can put flowers there. You can make it very attractive. And then sit there and imagine all that is around you. And then just watch what goes around inside. That is step one. Let's try. Close your eyes. And you can't move now after this because the houses don't move. And you can't be stirring around like this because houses don't swing like that. And there is no earthquake going on. So the house should be steady and firm, upright. So you should sit upright. And it's important to be upright because the spine behind functions like an elevator. It functions as an elevator to go to any of the 6 floors. There are also steps, there are also staircase in front, and the elevator is at the back. That's how this house is constructed. So you have to be straight. Elevators can't be bent. So you keep your body straight, no movement, as absolute quiet and stillness, and decorate your meditation chamber behind the eyes and sit in the center on your chair. Keep your eyes closed till I count 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Open your eyes and welcome back. You can rub your eyes, you rub your hands, and with more progressive meditation, you will find that it will be easy to rub your hands and legs and knees to more rapidly get back into this body. How many of you could do this exercise, which I just did? How many of you had problem sitting there? Okay, now some of you had a problem seating yourself there. Maybe a little more practice can help you, but we'll do an exercise which helps. Now, in the second exercise we are going to do will be that we go back to the same chamber. We'll always go back to the same chamber for meditation. That is the meditation chamber. Nothing outside. There's no meditation chamber that can succeed outside. It's all inside. Now you go back to the meditation chamber in the next exercise, sit in the center, and you will have a small table on the side. Like I have this table here, you have an imaginary table on your side, on the right side. And you will have on the table a glass with a beverage of your choice, a drink of your choice. You would also have a bunch of flowers, not necessarily these, your favorite flowers. You'll have these favorite flowers and very nice cup containing your drink and a little plate containing your favorite snack. So you have to imagine all these things are there. When you have done that, I'll give you the next instruction. So close your eyes, go back to the chamber behind the eyes, and imagine you are sitting in the center with a table on your right side. On the table, there are flowers, there's a drink, and there's a snack. Make sure they all three are there, and then you can look forward. Look on the right side that these are there, and then you can look forward after that. Now pick up the vase of flowers, the vase of flowers. Bring it in front of you and look at the flowers. Do you see their color? Are these your favorite flowers? Look at them carefully. Turn them around. Do they look the same on all sides? Now bring them close to your nose and smell them and see if this is your favorite fragrance. How many of you could do this successfully? Well, that's a larger number, very good. How many of you saw new flowers which you had not seen before? That's wonderful. How many of you found that the flowers changed colors while you were watching? Very good, so many. How many of you enjoyed the drink? Great. How many of you enjoyed the snack? How many of you still have the taste of the snack in your mouth? Great. What is the purpose of this exercise is that these sense perceptions, during this little exercise, with your eyes closed, you could see flowers, you could smell them, you could see colors, you could eat, taste something, you could smell, you could touch. You used all your sense perceptions with your eyes closed. Power of imagination? No. If it was pure imagination, you would only have imagined what you saw earlier. But you are telling me you saw something new. You saw something that you'd never seen before. You tasted something that you never tasted before. What does it mean? There is a whole world of experiences, of sense perceptions inside us. This is just a fringe of that taste that you got. But it also helped you to build some better relationship with the place behind the eyes, which is your meditation chamber. At least you know where to go. We set up places in our outside houses for meditation. This is my meditation corner. This is my meditation room. I do this for that. Do you know, when you do that, when you meditate, your attention is all outside on that room. People buy expensive rugs. They show me, this is my extra special rug, I got Persian rug to meditate on. I said, if I meditated on that, I would be thinking of the rug all the time. I'm not meditating on the self, I'm meditating on the rug. So therefore, the only real place to meditate effectively and usefully is inside your own head. This is your meditation chamber. This is where you have to return again and again if you want to be successful. So make it as great, as wonderful as possible. Now when we are sitting there, you notice that the mind is thinking a lot of things, not of that place. How many of you had experienced that while you were there, mind was thinking of outside things? All of us, I believe. That is the nature of the mind. It will keep you busy with things outside. And that is one of the greatest problems in the initial stages of effective meditation. That the mind runs out. You want to be in, the mind runs out. And then sometimes we think the best thing is every time the mind runs out, bring it back. Mind runs out, bring it back. People practice that kind of meditation. They told me, yeah, we fight the mind. The mind goes out, we bring it back. Fight. At the end, you are tired, like nobody's business. You've been fighting all the time. And at the end, lost the war. You won every battle and lost the war. Because the mind kept you busy in going out and in and out and in and out. What did you get? That is not meditation. It's a useless fight with the mind. Mind can't be fought like that. It's too clever. We made it clever. Every day we train it to be clever. So how can we fight it with this simple tool of fighting with the mind? With the mind, mind keeps us busy. The mind's secret of keeping us outside is to keep us busy with activities outside. And that's what it does. So now we have been told that there are methods to control this flow of the mind. And one of them, of course, is repetition of words. Use of Simran or mantra, so we can keep on chanting, repeating that, and that helps us to keep the mind busy inside instead of outside. It's only a way to put the mind from one place to another, to put the mind from outside into inside. Because if we are repeating the words inside, the mind, at least while we are repeating, the mind cannot think of other words at that time. Sometimes the mind is very clever. He can make us repeat the words with our tongue. And we keep on repeating, the mind can think of anything it likes. Actually, Kabir, an Indian mystic, says in his Hindi, I'll tell you, translate it for you. He says, Mala to kar mein phire, jeeb phire mukh mahi, manwa to chaho desh phire, ye to simran nahi. He says you can carry the beads and rosary in your hand and keep on moving it in your hands. You can utter all the chanting, you can utter all the Simran, all the mantra with your tongue, and the mind is running all around the world. Don't call it Simran anymore. It is not. It's not yielding anything. It becomes a ritual. It's a ritual that keeps you exactly doing the same thing for your whole life, and you make no progress in meditation. Meditation is when you make the mind say the words, not your tongue. Now, mind is very clever again, and we have tried that. We try to say our Simran, our repetition, our mantra with the mind. And very often, the mind also keeps on doing the words and commenting upon it. You are using the words, it's repeating words and then saying, oh, are you doing it too fast? Are you doing it too slow? Who's talking that now? Also the mind. And the mind jumps from one channel to another almost. Like it has several channels in which it can repeat the words. So we get caught up. Now another thing. We are repeating words, mind has gone all over the world and taken us on a ride and taken us on a bigger ride because now we think, oh, we have controlled the mind, we are doing Simran. The mind has run all over the world. It's useless. Our repetition has no value because we are not here at all. Some part of the mind has taken us out. So what is the solution? Which not many people tell us that solution. I'm telling you practical. The solution is when you hear that on top of your repetition, another voice is speaking, don't try to cut that voice out and go back to Simran. Make that voice join in the Simran, in the repetition. So what will happen will be, you will hear two voices doing the repetition. There may be even a third, even a fourth. Put all of them together. It will be a chorus. Your mind will create many voices and all of them will be doing the repetition, giving very little chance for the mind to run out. Then the mind will try another trick. It will bring an image of a friend. It will bring an image, not the words. Words we have blocked. It will bring a friend who started talking to us. We are doing our mantra, we are repeating, and the friend is standing in front telling us something. At that time, don't try to push the friend away and say, I am doing mantra. Make the friend join you in the mantra. At the very point where you are. Not let's start all over again. Come on, join. Then you continue. And friend can join. I had given this tip to somebody who was able to join 5 friends together and very successful meditation. Whoever came, come on. There was a big chorus of the words were ringing so loud because so many people were saying it at the same time. It was all your own mind being controlled. There was nobody else. We have to deal diplomatically with this enemy of ours who's preventing us from getting in the mind. And this is one way of doing it. So many of you are initiates and have been doing meditation. Many of you have been doing other kinds of mantra. So what I am suggesting is that try this, and you will hold your attention much better behind the eyes in the center. Shall we try? Let's start. Close your eyes. Close your eyes, go back to your meditation chamber and go to the center. In the center, if you have a mantra, if you have a simran to repeat, use that, use those words. If you don't have any, then you coin some short phrase expressing your love for the beloved and repeat that phrase again and again. It's a repetition of the phrase that's going to hold you inside. If any other sounds come, let them join. Any figures come, faces come, they should all join in the repetition and see a chorus, see a loud gathering of Simran doing entities sitting right inside your head. Open your eyes, welcome back. How many of you don't want to come back? Very, very good. How many of you are enjoying this? Oh, very happy to see that. How many of you could successfully do this meditation with inclusive meditation with other voices and other figures? How many of you could do it? Good. It all needs practice. Everything I'm talking about here needs practice. It's not a one-day affair. You have to keep on practicing. Practice makes you perfect. I'll tell you a little story. To cut the heaviness of this talk, I'll tell you a little story. Once upon a time, that's how the stories begin. Once upon a time, there was a king in India, and he was a very sharpshooter with his bows and arrows. And he could hit an arrow exactly on target. He was so good that if the target was flat on the ground, he could hit the arrow up and bring it down on target. So he was a very great expert. And one day this king was out for hunting, and when he came back, he saw on the balcony of his palace his queen, his wife, standing there. And the queens wear a lot of jewelry, you know, and they normally wear a strong, big diamond jewel right on their forehead. It's linked up like this. He saw that shining jewel. He said, "Let me surprise my wife today." So he shot the arrow up and went down and touched that diamond ornament and brought it down. And the wife didn't even know. He did it so subtly, cleverly. Then he walked up to the balcony. He says, "My dear, you are not wearing your usual jewelry here." And she said, "Oh, I must have dropped it somewhere." He said, "Look, it's my arrow in that jewel ornament of yours. I so successfully did this." And she very casually said, "What is big about it? By practice you can do anything." He got so mad that I have shown such a big piece of art, I have shown my skill, and this woman is just saying anybody can do like this practice. He was so angry, like many kings used to be angry. He said, "Take this woman out, no longer queen. Go and throw her into the forest. Let the wild animals eat her." So the guards took that woman out and threw her into the forest. In the forest there were animals, and they were surprised to see the newcomer. There was an elephant, she-elephant, who was giving birth to a baby elephant. And this woman watched the baby elephant being born there. And when the baby elephant was born, she took the baby elephant, there was a little stream nearby. She washed the baby elephant and played with the baby elephant and throwing up and down. And then she put the baby elephant at the feet of the mother elephant. Mother elephant looked very pleased. Every day she was doing this. As the baby elephant was growing bigger, she was still able to do it because on a daily basis, she didn't see how big the elephant was becoming. And with practice, her muscles got accustomed to lifting the baby elephant as it became big. One day, some entertainment people were out in the forest and they saw a woman lifting an elephant. They were shocked. They said, "How can a woman lift an elephant?" And they came to her and said, "How can you lift an elephant?" She says, "By practice one can do, but I am just lifting this elephant because it was a baby of mine. I treat it as my baby." They said, "Come with us. we'll make a lot of money for you, we'll make a lot of money for ourselves. This is some big entertainment for people. So they took the woman, gave her new clothes and costumes and took her to the city, and she began to show the elephant trick that she can lift the elephant. The king heard there's a woman who can lift an elephant. He asked that a show be arranged in his own palace compound. So the woman comes and picks up the elephant, and the king takes up a lot of money and walks up to her and says, I am so amazed at your capacity, your skill to lift up an elephant. Here is some reward for you. She said, that's not a big deal. By practice, one can do anything. He said, this must be my wife. It's just a story. But the purpose of the story is, the moral of the story is, by practice, you can do anything. And all these things we talk about in meditation and getting spiritual insights and seeing things inside are all based upon practice. And practice should be practice with momentum. That means daily practice. Some people say, on weekends I do meditation. I say, what do you do the rest of the week? Oh, we spend all my time in the world. There's no momentum lost. Every time you're a beginner, every time you start in the beginning. If every day you do, it is much better because you have the momentum of that, and you pick up from the next day from where you left last day. So daily meditation is more important than many hours of meditation after long gaps. Even 5 minutes of meditation on a daily basis maintains the momentum. But doing 2.5, 3, 4 hours once in a while is not as good. People forget that part. They think that this is just a part-time activity for the weekend. It's not. If you want to be serious about it, it's not. Therefore, with practice, you can hold your attention, and I'll go further into this when I talk to you tomorrow and conduct further meditation exercise tomorrow on the process that goes beyond what we did today. Today was only how to establish there and how to use mantra or Simran as a useful aid to putting your attention in the head. Now, are there any questions still? I thought there were some questions to be answered. If there are any, I'd like to take them up before I go on to something further. Okay. Questions are on their way. There are some questions which these mystics have asked. During the lunch break, I heard some music, Sufi music, and saw the dervish dancing. And Rumi, it was Rumi's song that they were singing, and he was saying how mistaken I was when I was looking for my friend and saying we'll meet somewhere, when I discovered that friends, real friends, don't meet somewhere, they are together all the time. Another part of the song said that I looked for something outside, ultimately I found it was all within me. Another saying was, I went to the school, they taught me everything. They gave me knowledge, they gave me books, but they could not give me what I wanted. I wanted them to give to me myself. I wanted them to give myself. So they have asked and answered questions like these. They're quite inspiring, show the importance of the truth being inside, not outside at all. Okay, questions have arrived. I'll repeat the question. Do masters sometimes say something is going to happen and then it doesn't happen? For example, I had heard that great master had named Bhagat Singh as a successor, but he died before that could happen. Why is this the case? The masters never act as astrologers. They are not soothsayers and predictors of what is going to happen. Even when they know, they will not predict, because that is not their role. If they came for this role to be astrologers and telling what's going to happen in the future, they'd be confined to happenings in the future here. All these events we are talking about are physical events in the physical world. They are trying to take us back to our true home. How much would they like to concentrate their attention on telling about events that are going to happen here? It's not their role to become astrologers and predict what is going to happen here. There are so many others who can do that. If you want to find what is going to happen, go to a good astrologer. Go to a good soothsayer. Don't go to a perfect living master. Secondly, perfect living masters are playing a game. And they follow the pattern of the creator. The creator is playing a game. The creator is playing a bigger game. They play a smaller game in a smaller stage here where they come. And they act as natural and as much like us as we are. If they can predict something and we cannot, they are unfit to be masters with us. They have to be just like us. If a master is so much advanced beyond us, he can never be our friend. A friend is one who is like us. That is why they are so careful to be like us, that if they are meeting different people at different stations of life, they will be like each one of them separately. But they'll be like them, like us, not something super. They never come as superheroes or trying to show off that they know something better than us. They talk like us. They don't know what's going on. And just like we would say. And therefore, do they make mistakes? Sure, if we make mistakes, they make mistakes. Otherwise, they are not like us. So this thing we sometimes miss, that people who show off, that they have more knowledge, more power, more things than us, they can impress us. And we can even sometimes worship them. We can admire them, but we cannot love them. Love doesn't flow like that. Love flows where somebody is like us. And that is why these perfect living masters particularly are so ordinary. They're sometimes more ordinary than ordinary people. And yet their extraordinariness we discover by association with them. And we find eventually they know everything, but they act so well. We are all supposed to be good actors. We are very good actors without knowing it. They are good actors and know it. We are very good actors because our life that we are leading is prescripted, predetermined. Every word we speak, every thought we have is written out in advance. We think it's happening now. We've forgotten we are actors. And actors performing strictly according to the script. Therefore, they know that they are following the script. And they will follow the script of an ordinary person. And that is why they do not show that they are extraordinary. I give an example. If there was a master, supernatural master, who can do many things, like flying with his physical body. And supposing while we are sitting here, such a physical prowess of a master of a prowess that he can fly with a physical body, flies in from that door or from this door. Let's see him flying out here. I can see him flying. And we're all looking at awe. What are we thinking when we are looking at that master, flying master? Some of us will think there is some string attached. We'll say there's a trick, and we'll try to figure out what the trick is. And some will say, how can that be? Some of us may faint to see such an event. Some of us will admire. Some of us will worship. Nobody will love that person. But if he happened to fall down here, supposing suddenly in performing that extraordinary feat, he falls, so many of us will run to him and have compassion and love for that person. Don't forget, love does not come from showing something extraordinary. You can get other kinds of feelings. Masters come here to pull us with their love, unconditional love. And they become like us. And that is why they can say things, they may not true. Oh, it didn't come out true? Okay, I'll tell you something else. Normal. I have had experience with great master. So I had experience with great master when he named the attorney, his attorney, Bhagat Singh, as his successor. I was the last person to see the great master with Bhagat Singh before Bhagat Singh died. I was the only person privy to the conversations that Great Master had with Bhagat Singh before Bhagat Singh died. And Great Master told me at that very time, don't tell what we talked. And I never told anybody. I only told them that he did talk and I was there. But the fact, and I know the significance of what he talked at that time. I know the significance today, why he named him and the man died whom he named. But these things, if you want real answers, why Master do a particular thing which we can't understand outside, go inside, answers are there. Inside you will see the whole story. You will see exactly why these things happen. There was a very good reason for what this happened. But we can't see the reason here. But if we go within, we'll find the reason. So do not expect masters to be acting as astrologers. But you can find them as beautiful lovers and beautiful beloveds. Will you speak about the Mansarovar? Mansarovar is a lake. It's a lake, a very beautiful lake in India, on the border with Tibet. It's actually part of it is Tibet. The Mansarovar lake is beautiful blue lake. I had a chance to go and see it. I had a very beautiful chance because I was working with the government and working on the border with Tibet at one time. So I got a chance to see the so-called real Mansarovar lake. People say that it's very difficult to see the real Mansarovar lake up in the mountains. But the real Mansarovar lake that I didn't see was inside. The Mansarovar that is mentioned in the spiritual literature is a lake that we see during meditation. There are so many experiences we have during meditation which are symbolic. They are symbols arising from what we see outside. They are placed in different places in our journey towards our own true home so that we can have experiences which are relatable to something that we can see here. Because otherwise, it's impossible to describe the inner stages. But even to view these inner stages and to appreciate what is inside, it has to be symbols. It's almost like we use symbols here. We use language, for example, it's symbol. We communicate with each other through symbols. We read letters, symbols. Alphabets are symbols. We use symbols all the time to get access to something more than what we are seeing. So that is why we get access to some experiences which are symbolic, but they are beyond symbols. They mean much more than the symbol. So when we are going inward in our journey and we want to cross the mind and go through a lake, symbolic lake, when we go through that, we see 5 little boys sitting there and running away to see us, and then they run away. We have a dip in that water, we come out. This is all a story. It's a good story. It's a good story of an actual happening that takes place. What are those 5 boys that we see? What is the lake? It's a lake that transforms our nature, which is full of the 5 vices here of lust, anger, possessiveness, greed. All those 5 vices which we talk about here, they appear like 5 boys as symbols. They say bye-bye and run away. And after that, in this life, you find you're never angry, you're never lustful, they've gone away. It's a symbolic experience inside, but does take place. Takes place on the Mansarovar lake. Takes place in the lake where all transformation takes place in you when you go from one to the other. It is a control, final control over the mind. So the Mansarovar lake, the beautiful lake which is inside, is symbolic of the great change that takes place in us. The outside lake is also pretty, but does not do the same thing. You can have many dips you like into them. Your anger remains the same. Your lust remains the same. Water does not wash off that, but the inner water, the nectar in the Mansarovar lake can do that. Can you please explain in Punjabi the importance of sitting behind the eyes for meditation with some elaboration, please? This is a request for a new lecture in Punjabi. How many of you speak and understand Punjabi? Okay. How many don't understand? If I speak a little bit in Punjabi, what will the rest do? Will you be patient enough to listen? Because only a small minority understand, but I will speak short, not too long, so hold your patience. And see how Punjabi sounds, at least a foreign language. ਭਰਾਵੋ ਤੋਂ ਭੈਣੋ, ਸਾਨੂੰ ਇੱਕੋ ਹੀ ਗੱਲ ਯਾਦ ਰੱਖਣੀ ਚਾਹੀਦੀ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਇਹ ਸਾਰਾ ਮਾਰਗ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਸੰਤ ਮਤ ਦਾ ਸਾਡੇ ਅੰਦਰ ਹੈ, ਔਰ ਸਾਡੀ ਅੱਖਾਂ ਤੋਂ ਸ਼ੁਰੂ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਹੈ, ਅੱਖਾਂ ਦੇ ਪਿੱਛੋਂ ਸ਼ੁਰੂ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਹੈ, ਔਰ ਸਿਰ ਦੇ ਉੱਪਰ ਤੱਕ ਜਾਂਦਾ ਹੈ। ਜੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਧਿਆਨ ਅੰਦਰ ਰੱਖਾਂਗੇ ਤਦ ਸਾਡਾ ਸੰਤ ਮਤ ਸ਼ੁਰੂ ਹੋਏਗਾ, ਨਹੀਂ ਤਾਂ ਸਮਝੋ ਬਾਹਰ ਦੇ ਬਾਹਰ ਰਵਾਂਗੇ। ਅਸੀਂ ਸਾਰੇ ਬਾਹਰ ਮੁੱਖ ਹੋਏ ਹੋਏ ਹਾਂ, ਔਰ ਅਸੀਂ ਕੋਈ ਅੰਦਰ ਦਾ ਧਿਆਨ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਰਦੇ, ਬਾਹਰ ਦੀਆਂ ਚੀਜ਼ਾਂ ਸੋਚਦੇ ਹਾਂ। ਜੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਫਾਇਦਾ ਉਠਾਉਣਾ ਹੈ ਸੰਤ ਮਤ ਦਾ, ਕਿਸੇ ਸਤਿਗੁਰ ਦਾ ਕੋਲੋਂ ਕੁਝ ਜੋ ਦੀਕਸ਼ਾ ਲੈਂਦੇ ਹੋ, ਨਾਮ ਲੈਂਦੇ ਹੋ, ਉਹਦਾ ਫਾਇਦਾ ਉਠਾਉਣਾ ਹੈ, ਤੇ ਹਰ ਰੋਜ਼ ਅੱਖਾਂ ਦੇ ਪਿੱਛੇ ਅੰਦਰ ਬੈਠੋ ਔਰ ਭਜਨ ਸਿਮਰਨ ਕਰੋ, ਜਿਸ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਸਮਝਾਇਆ ਗਿਆ। ਜੇ ਅੱਖਾਂ ਬੰਦ ਕਰਕੇ ਵੈਸੇ ਬੈਠ ਜਾਓ ਤੇ ਧਿਆਨ ਕਿਤੇ ਹੋਰ ਜਾਵੇ, ਉਹਦਾ ਕੋਈ ਫਾਇਦਾ ਨਹੀਂ। ਪਹਿਲੀ ਗੱਲ ਇਹ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਸਭ ਤੋਂ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਇਹ ਸਮਝੋ ਕਿ ਇਹ ਤੁਹਾਡਾ ਮਕਾਨ ਹੈ, ਇਹ ਸਰੀਰ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੈ, ਇਹ ਮਕਾਨ ਹੈ। ਤੁਸੀਂ ਇਸ ਮਕਾਨ 'ਚ ਬੈਠੇ ਹੋਏ ਹੋ, ਇਹ 6ਵੀਂ ਮੰਜ਼ਿਲ 'ਤੇ ਬੈਠੇ ਹੋਏ ਹੋ, ਕਿਉਂਕਿ 6 ਚੱਕਰ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਥੱਲੇ ਰਹਿ ਗਏ, ਇਸ ਕਰਕੇ 6ਵੀਂ ਮੰਜ਼ਿਲ 'ਤੇ ਬੈਠੇ ਹੋਏ ਹੋ। ਪਿੱਛੇ ਆਰਾਮ ਨਾਲ ਬੈਠੋ, ਬਿਲਕੁਲ ਇਹਨੂੰ ਆਪਣਾ ਕਮਰਾ ਬਣਾ ਲਓ ਕਿ ਸਾਡਾ ਕਮਰਾ ਹੈਗਾ ਜਿਹਦੇ ਅੰਦਰ ਅਸੀਂ ਭਜਨ ਕਰਨਾ ਹੈ, ਬਾਹਰ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਰਨਾ। ਇਹ ਨਹੀਂ ਸਮਝਣਾ ਕਿ ਸਰੀਰ ਨਾਲ ਬਾਹਰ ਬੈਠ ਕੇ ਭਜਨ ਕਰਨੇ ਪਏ ਹੈ। ਭਜਨ ਸ਼ੁਰੂ ਹੀ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਹੈ ਅੱਖਾਂ ਦੇ ਪਿੱਛੇ। ਤੁਸੀਂ ਜੇ ਆਪਣਾ ਧਿਆਨ ਇਸ ਗੱਲ ਤੋਂ ਸ਼ੁਰੂ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਰੋਗੇ ਤੇ ਬਾਹਰ ਦੇ ਬਾਹਰ ਬੈਠੇ ਰਹੋਗੇ। ਮੇਰੇ ਦੋਸਤ ਮਿੱਤਰ ਹੈਗੇ ਹੈ, 40-40 ਸਾਲ ਤੋਂ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਨਾਮ ਲਿਆ ਹੋਇਆ, ਔਰ ਆ ਕੇ ਦੱਸਦੇ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਕੁਛ ਨਹੀਂ ਮਿਲਿਆ। ਮਿਲੇਗਾ ਕਿੱਥੋਂ? ਬਾਹਰ ਬੈਠੇ ਹੋਏ। ਉਹ ਸਮਝਦੇ ਅੱਖਾਂ ਮੀਟ ਕੇ ਬਹਿ ਜਾਓ ਤਾਂ ਭਜਨ ਸਿਮਰਨ ਹੋ ਗਿਆ। ਇਹ ਕਿਸ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਹੋ ਸਕਦਾ? ਇਸ ਕਰਕੇ ਜੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਕੋਈ ਫਾਇਦਾ ਉਠਾਉਣਾ ਹੈ ਭਜਨ ਸਿਮਰਨ ਕੋਲੋਂ, ਤੇ ਪਹਿਲੀ ਲੋੜ ਇਹ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਅੱਖਾਂ ਦੇ ਪਿੱਛੇ ਕਮਰਾ ਬਣਾ ਕੇ ਆਪਣਾ ਬੈਠੋ। ਉਹੀ ਤੁਹਾਡੀ ਗੁਫਾ ਹੈ। ਹੁਣ ਲੋਕ ਉੱਥੇ ਡੇਰੇ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਸੀ, ਗੁਫਾ 'ਚ ਬੈਠਦੇ ਸੀ ਕਿ ਕੋਈ ਬਾਹਰੋਂ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਰੌਲਾ ਨਾ ਪਵੇ, ਲਾਈਟ ਨਾ ਆਵੇ, ਕੁਛ ਨਾ, ਰੌਲਾ ਨਾ ਆਵੇ, ਅਤੇ ਆਪਣੇ ਆਰਾਮ ਨਾਲ ਬੈਠਦੇ ਸੀ। ਅਤੇ ਵੱਡੇ ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਜੀ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਸੀ ਕਿ ਗੁਫਾ ਤਾਂ ਸਾਡੀ ਅੰਦਰ ਹੈ, ਗੁਫਾ ਬਾਹਰ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੈਗੀ। ਹੈ ਠੀਕ ਹੈ, ਤੁਸੀਂ ਬਾਹਰ ਬੈਠਦੇ ਹੋ, ਪਰ ਜੇ ਬਾਹਰ ਦੀ ਗੁਫਾ ਨੂੰ ਸਮਝੋਗੇ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਕੁਛ ਮਿਲ ਜਾਏਗਾ, ਚਾਨਣ ਮਿਲ ਜਾਏਗਾ, ਉੱਥੇ ਕੁਛ ਨਹੀਂ ਮਿਲਣਾ। ਇਹ ਗੁਫਾ ਸਾਡੀ ਜਿਹਦੇ ਅੰਦਰ ਅਸੀਂ ਬੈਠਣਾ। ਸੋ ਪਹਿਲੀ ਗੱਲ ਇਹ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਅੱਖਾਂ ਮੀਟ ਕੇ ਆਪਣੇ ਆਪ ਨੂੰ ਸਮਝੋ ਕਿ ਸਿਰ ਦੇ ਅੰਦਰ ਬੈਠੇ ਹੋਏ ਹੋ, ਔਰ ਤੁਹਾਡੀ 6ਵੀਂ ਮੰਜ਼ਿਲ ਹੈ। ਚੰਗਾ ਪੱਕਾ ਮਕਾਨ ਸਮਝੋ ਬਣਿਆ ਹੋਇਆ ਹੈ, ਔਰ ਇਹ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਤੁਹਾਡਾ ਫਲੋਰ ਹੈਗਾ, ਇਹ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਛੱਤ ਇਹਦੀ ਹੈਗੀ ਹੈ, ਉੱਪਰ ਦੀ ਛੱਤ, ਅਤੇ ਇਹ ਛੱਤ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਇਹਦੇ ਦਰਮਿਆਨ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਜਗ੍ਹਾ ਹੈ ਉਹਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਬੈਠਣਾ, ਹੋਰ ਕਿਤੇ ਨਹੀਂ। ਔਰ ਇਹਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਵੀ ਬਿਲਕੁਲ ਐਨ ਦਰਮਿਆਨ ਸੈਂਟਰ 'ਚ ਬੈਠਣਾ, ਇੱਕ ਪਾਸੇ ਨਹੀਂ, ਪਿੱਛੇ ਲੇਟ ਕੇ ਨਹੀਂ ਬੈਠਣਾ, ਸੈਂਟਰ 'ਚ ਬੈਠਣਾ। ਕਈ ਗੱਲਾਂ ਹੋਣਗੀਆਂ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਭਜਨ ਸਿਮਰਨ ਵਿੱਚ, ਤੁਹਾਡਾ ਧਿਆਨ ਜਾਏਗਾ ਹੋਰ ਚੀਜ਼ਾਂ ਵਿੱਚ। ਤੁਸੀਂ ਚਾਹੇ ਕੋਈ ਚੀਜ਼ ਆ ਜਾਣ, ਧਿਆਨ ਆ ਜਾਏ, ਉਹ ਜਗ੍ਹਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਛੱਡਣੀ ਸੈਂਟਰ ਦੀ। ਇਹ ਬੜੀ ਵੱਡੀ ਗੱਲ ਹੈ, ਉਹ ਜਗ੍ਹਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਛੱਡਣੀ, ਕੁਛ ਹੋ ਜਾਏ। ਅਤੇ ਇਸ ਕਰਕੇ ਜਦੋਂ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਆਪਣੇ ਆਪ ਨੂੰ ਉੱਥੇ ਬਿਠਾਓਗੇ, ਉੱਥੇ ਬੈਠ ਕੇ ਸਿਮਰਨ ਕਰੋ, ਉੱਥੇ ਬੈਠ ਕੇ ਸ਼ਬਦ ਸੁਣੋ, ਉੱਥੇ ਬੈਠ ਕੇ ਤੁਹਾਡੀ ਚੜ੍ਹਾਈ ਹੋਏਗੀ, ਬਾਹਰ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੋਏਗੀ। ਇਹ ਗੱਲ ਮੈਂ ਖਾਸ ਇਸ ਪਿੱਛੇ ਘੜੀ ਮੁੜੀ ਕਹਿੰਦਾ, ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਬਹੁਤ ਸਾਰੇ ਮੇਰੇ ਮਿੱਤਰ ਅੱਖਾਂ ਮੀਟ ਕੇ ਬਹਿੰਦੇ ਰਹੇ ਅਤੇ ਕੁਛ ਨਹੀਂ ਮਿਲਿਆ, ਅਤੇ ਫਿਰ ਉਹ ਮੇਰੇ ਨਾਲ ਆਪਣਾ ਦੁੱਖ ਵੰਡਦੇ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਜੀ ਇਹ ਤਾਂ ਅਸੀਂ ਭਜਨ ਤਾਂ ਲਿਆ ਹੋਇਆ ਸੀ, ਕੁਛ ਨਜ਼ਰ ਨਾ ਅੰਦਰ ਨਜ਼ਰ ਆਇਆ, ਨਾ ਬਾਹਰ ਕੁਛ ਹੋਇਆ, ਸਾਨੂੰ ਕੀ ਮਿਲਿਆ। ਉਹ ਗੁਰੂਆਂ 'ਤੇ ਆਪਣਾ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਫੇਥ ਹੈ ਉਹ ਵੀ ਘੱਟ ਜਾਂਦਾ ਕਿ ਜੀ ਪਤਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਸਾਡੇ ਉੱਥੇ ਦਇਆ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੋਈ, ਪਤਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਸਾਡੇ ਕਰਮ ਬਹੁਤ ਮਾੜੇ ਸੀ ਕਿ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਕੁਛ ਨਹੀਂ ਮਿਲਦਾ ਪਿਆ। ਨਹੀਂ, ਜਿਹੜੀ ਪਹਿਲੀ ਗਲਤੀ ਹੋਈ ਹੈ ਉਹਨੂੰ ਤਾਂ ਠੀਕ ਕਰੋ। ਪਹਿਲੀ ਗਲਤੀ ਐ ਸੀ ਕਿ ਅਸੀਂ ਆਪਣਾ ਭਜਨ ਸਿਮਰਨ ਅੰਦਰ ਬੈਠ ਕੇ ਸ਼ੁਰੂ ਨਹੀਂ ਕੀਤਾ। ਸੋ ਇਸ ਕਰਕੇ ਇਹ ਮੇਰੀ ਅਰਦਾਸ ਹੈ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਕਿ ਜੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਭਜਨ ਦਾ ਫਾਇਦਾ ਉਠਾਉਣਾ ਹੈ ਤਾਂ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਅੱਖਾਂ ਦੇ ਪਿੱਛੇ ਬੈਠੋ ਔਰ ਸਮਝ ਲਓ ਕਿ ਮੈਂ ਅੱਖਾਂ ਪਿੱਛੇ ਬੈਠਾ, ਤਦ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਉਹਦੇ ਬਾਅਦ ਸਿਮਰਨ ਸ਼ੁਰੂ ਕਰੋ, ਉਹਦੇ ਬਾਅਦ ਭਜਨ ਕਰੋ। ਮੈਂ ਆ ਕੇ ਅਮਰੀਕਾ 'ਚ ਕਿਸੇ ਨੂੰ ਮੈਂ ਗੱਲ ਕਹੀ, ਕਹਿਣ ਲੱਗੇ ਇਹ ਕਿੱਥੇ ਲਿਖਿਆ ਹੋਇਆ ਅਖਬਾਰ, ਕਿਸੇ ਕਿਤਾਬ ਵਿੱਚ ਲਿਖਿਆ ਹੋਇਆ? ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਸਾਡੇ ਕੋਲ ਕਿਤਾਬ ਹੈਗੀ ਹੈ ਵੱਡੇ ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਦੀ, ਬਾਬਾ ਸਾਵਨ ਸਿੰਘ ਦੀ, ਸਪਿਰਿਚੁਅਲ ਜੈਮਸ। ਅਸੀਂ ਤਾਂ ਰੋਜ਼ ਪੜ੍ਹਨੇ ਆ, ਉਹ ਲੈਟਰਸ ਹੈਗੇ ਅਮਰੀਕਨਾਂ ਵਾਸਤੇ, ਲੈਟਰਸ ਹੈਗੇ ਹੈ, ਅਤੇ ਉਹ ਤਾਂ ਕਿਤੇ ਨਹੀਂ ਲਿਖਿਆ ਹੋਇਆ। ਮੈਂ ਕਿਹਾ ਦਿਖਾਓ, ਮੈਂ ਤਾਂ ਪੜ੍ਹੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਦੀ ਕਿਤਾਬ। मैं ना इत्थे अमरीका आ के किताब पढ़ी तो 16 जगह मार्क किया जिथे वड्डे महाराज ने कहा जब तक तुसी अखां दे पिछे ना बैठो भजन सिमरन शुरू नहीं करना चाहिए। वो किताब 'च लिखिया है। पढ़ते नहीं असीं वो चीज़ पढ़ने जी साडे मन नूं भावे, असीं असल चीज़ नहीं पढ़ते। इस करके मैं इस गल ते जोर दिता सी कि तुसी अपना पहला अखां दे पिछे बैठो, अपना नूं बना लो, मंदिर इनू बना लो, मस्जिद इनू बना लो, अपना चर्च इनू बना लो, जो कुछ करना है इत्थे करो, बाहर नहीं कुछ हैगा। बाहर बैठन नाल, बाहर गद्दियां रखनियां नवीं, बाहर नवें कारपट रख लेने कि जी सारा भजन वास्ते है, वो कोई काम नहीं आते। सारा ध्यान होना चले जाता है। जे कारपट विछाना है ना, चंगा वधिया कारपट अंदर विछाओ तो नज़र आवे अपने सोच के नाल कि हाँ अंदर साढ़े कोल कारपट भी है, कुर्सी भी है, उत्ते बैठ सकते हैं, बड़े आराम नाल जमीन ते बैठ सकते हैं। अंदर 6वीं मंजिल च बैठो अंदर, तो फिर भजन सिमरन शुरू करो। थैंक यू वेरी मच फॉर योर पेशेंस। If your master has passed, can you still find him inside if you haven't already? Or do you need to find a new living master? If you have a living, perfect living master, I'm talking of perfect living master, perfect living master who has reached to a true home in his lifetime as a human being, and when he talks to us, he is aware at that very time of the true home, of the different levels of consciousness and this world at the same time. So he can speak directly with authority from any one of these places. That's a perfect living master. One who has seen all these and come as an ordinary person without that vision at all times is not a perfect living master. I am talking of that perfect living master who at all times can see everything. When he initiates us, he places himself inside us in a more manifest form. That means a visible form. Otherwise, what is his form? His form is the word. His form is the shabd. His form is consciousness. His form is the self. Our own self is his form. We can't see him as a master with our own self. Therefore, he projects and manifests as a human being outside and inside. So when we see him outside, we fall in love with him, we take his teachings, we grow with him, and we become fond of him, we get closer, we spend time with him. And in course of time, when we follow his teachings, we manifest his own form inside, starting by imagining he's there, and then the imaginary one suddenly becomes alive by itself, and then becomes a radiant form of the astral type. It stays with us forever. When that happens, you never feel your master's dead, even when the living body dies. He is more with you after his physical death than he was when he was physically alive. So therefore, a perfect living master who initiates us and whose radiant form we manifest inside us during his lifetime, we never feel he has ever died, he is still there. Supposing we have not manifested his radiant form while he is alive, and then he dies, then we become very anxious, impatient, that we missed an opportunity to manifest him. Now he has passed away, so we have to work hard. So we work hard, and gradually he can manifest himself later on, even after his death. And then we begin to see him, and then he becomes a friend and says, I didn't go anywhere, I was already sitting here, you didn't look at me. You didn't turn your attention here. Now you have come, welcome, let's go together. This journey to our true home with a perfect living master is never performed alone. It's always in the company of a perfect living master. Therefore, we walk together, we fly together, we go places together. It's not separated. That's a very big thing in life. The result is that we have a permanent friend with us at all times, day and night, here and there. So therefore, initiation by a perfect living master gives us a friendship which removes our loneliness forever, here and anywhere else. So we never feel that we are without the perfect living master. Therefore, If you have a perfect living master initiating you, and you have manifested his form, he is not dying for you. If you haven't worked hard, manifest him, and then he'll be with you. It is not a matter of whether he's died and you have to find a new living master. He's a living master. A living master means he was alive and he was able to give you the teaching and manifest while he was alive. Sheikh Farid, another mystic. Sheikh Farid was the disciple of Qutbuddin. Sheikh Qutbuddin was his master. Sheikh Farid told his son, get initiated by the master Qutbuddin. And son said, Dad, I am very busy, I am young, I have to go around with this company and I won't be able to do meditation. But I will do it, one day I will do it. The father kept on saying, look, the master is getting old. The master has reached an age, he will leave his body. Therefore, go and get initiated. This is something that you'll never get again. And the son didn't agree. One day, the master died. Qutbuddin died. And the son ran when he found out the master died, his body is still there. He ran and shaved his head and put his head on the feet of the dead body of Qutbuddin, the master. And Farid was standing next to him. He said, son, the body that you are looking at has more importance for me than anything else. He is my master. He is my master. I have more respect for this man than anybody else. I have more love for this man than anybody else. But he's dead. You can get nothing out of him. He said, unless you can hold the hand of a living sheikh, a living mystic, don't think you got anything. Now, putting your head on a dead body will give you nothing at all. Even 1 minute is too late if the master has died. Therefore, you must get initiated from a living master. Once you get initiated, you have the ability to manifest him, and he becomes alive inside you. So that is why it's important to have initiation from a perfect living master while he's there in physical form. After he's dead, he can't do anything. He did everything while he was alive, because that's the rule, that we need somebody as a friend while we are in human form. The friend is also in human form. If we try to worship a dead master or try to get initiation from a dead master, we are worshipping our own mind. We are worshipping and making our own mind that master. There's no way to check it out. Nobody is going to tell you. We are just confusing ourselves. Is this my mind? Is this master? No, I think must be master. These kinds of thoughts only lead us astray and into confusion. So it's a living master who can say no or yes. Our mind will say what it likes. People say, we are following some ascended masters sitting in the Himalayas. They've never gone to Himalayas. I have gone there to Himalayas. I worked there. And I saw those so-called masters who are helping people, ascended master helping here. They say we are not helping anybody except to come here and sees us. So therefore, it's not something, it's all our mind making up these things. We hear voices, we hear things inside and think they are master speaking to us. God is speaking to us. It's the mind speaking to us all the time. It's the mind that speaks. Nobody else speaks. But a man who's outside is not the mind, not our mind. And when a person who is a perfect living master speaks to us in a living body, it's not our mind. Otherwise, we are always listening to our mind and thinking the master is speaking. People follow nature and they say we worship the tree, we worship cows, we worship these animals, we worship dogs, and we worship insects, and all kinds of things. We worship nature. It's all mind. They say, this tree speaks to me. Do you know how the tree speaks? Whatever your mind says, the tree says. Tree doesn't say anything different. You say, I have a master living somewhere far. Whether it's far in distance or far in time, it's far. Therefore the mind speaks. You must have a present living master right in front of you who can hold your hand. Otherwise, it's just a mind game. So that is why it's very important for that initiation to be by perfect living master. But there can be occasions when you may go to another master. What are those occasions? Those occasions would be if your master is not a perfect living master, but he's a master of the spiritual path. But he can take you to stage 1 or stage 2. And your seeking is beyond that. then even if the master is alive, you will feel that you have to go beyond what he's saying, where he is taking you. No master can take you beyond where the master himself has gone. Therefore, there's a limit. And the master will call that stage where he has gone as the ultimate true home. Because that's what he believes. That's what he experiences. But if there is something beyond, your seeking will tell you where you want to go. Your seeking will tell you, I want to go beyond that. I'll tell you an actual practical example. There was one engineer in Burma. His name was Trilok Chand. Trilok Chand worked on the buildings and roads in Burma, and he was a very conjuice. What is conjuice? Punjabi speaking people know. Miserly. I'll demonstrate what he was like. If he had to spend $1, he would look at the dollar bill and say, to spend or not to spend? Not to spend. This way, he accumulated a lot of money. In those days, 30,000 rupees. With a small job of an engineer, it's only this way that he could accumulate 30,000 rupees. But he did. And then, but he was a great spiritual seeker. Every master that would come around, he would go to his talks and listen to him, felt he was not satisfied. He studied literature, and he found that there is something beyond us, something we have to go, and yoga and all those things he rejected after trying for some time. Then he heard that there is a master in Madras in India, a place now called Chennai, in those days called Madras, the city, and he found there was a master there who can really take your soul up to the higher levels. So he traveled, left his job, and came to India, went to Madras, and met that master. The master told him, have you heard the story of King Janak? He had heard the story of King Janak. Many of you must have heard the story of King Janak too. That there was, I'll just put an aside and tell you briefly the story of King Janak, which that master asked the Lokchand. The story of King Janak is, once upon a time there was a king in India named Janak, and he was a great spiritual seeker. And he asked his ministers and advisors, I want to find the real truth. I want to find something absolutely real, not this illusion around me. Can you tell me how I can do it? And the ministers, advisors told him, King Janak, you are living in a great country where there are so many mystics, so many sages, Mahatmas, so many yogis. All you have to do is hold a big festival, hold a party, and they will all come running. And then you can go and ask them your questions, and they will give you answers and give you true knowledge. He said, I don't want just academic knowledge. I want true knowledge. I said, surely they'll give you true knowledge. There are so many learned people here. So he held a big party. And a lot of food was there. And the party was in the lawn, in the compound of the palace. And many yogis, sadhus, people with ash on their bodies, people wearing yellow colors, saffron colors, white colors, all black colors, all kind of different groups came up and sat there. And all were with their literature, with their scriptures and so on. The king disguised himself as an ordinary tourist, and he walked amongst them. He was very shocked to see that these were such learned people, but they were so bent upon telling others that their point of view is right, that they were fighting with each other, arguing with each other. On this book says this, no, this is not the meaning of this. This book is more important than this book. They were fighting over written scriptures which they were carrying, and nobody had real knowledge. So king was very disappointed after going around all over in his incognito disguised costume. He came back into the palace disappointed, and he told his advisors and his ministers and secretaries, I am very sorry. This group of people, they have no true knowledge. They have learning. They can remember books by heart. They can repeat from scriptures by heart. But that's not what I want. I want true knowledge. And I want instant knowledge. Not that you keep on reading books and you will get it. When he said instant knowledge, when I read the story, I felt he must have been an American in his past life. He wanted instant knowledge. Anyway, the story goes on that the people said, you only had a 1-day party, everybody doesn't come, you should have a 7-day party, a 7-day yagya, and you should call people from all over the country. So by beat of drum, the whole country was informed, and they all came to a big party. For 7 days, there were many tents laid up for them to stay in, and they camped there for 7 days, and every day the king, disguised, went all over, and he found it was just a repetition of that 1-day party, only 7 times more. He was so disappointed. He came back, he said, they are all fighting over books. They are fighting over learning. They are fighting over what they can read and discuss and talk, but they have no knowledge, real knowledge. Then somebody said, King Janak, if you want that kind of knowledge, these people will not give you. A perfect living master can give you. He said, where is a perfect living master? They said, there is one sitting on the bank of the river. His name is Ashtabakar. Ashtabakar means 8 humps. He is a deformed body, but beautiful eyes. He's a true master. And he does not come to these parties. You go and call him and he will come. So the king went to Ashtabakar's little hut and he said, Ashtabakar got up, king, what have you come to me for? He said, I have not come as a king, I have come as a seeker, I have come as a beggar. I am begging for true knowledge. And will you come to my palace and give us true knowledge? Ashtabakar said, certainly, I'll come on a certain day and I'll give you true knowledge. So, on the day assigned, the king invited all his relatives, all the nobles and all the royalty around him, and they all assembled in the big auditorium in the palace. And the king had put 2 chairs, one for himself and one for Ashtabakar. So when Ashtabakar came, he was 7 or 8 followers with him. They took off their shoes, which was customary those days, at the entrance of the door, and he walked up. Since he was hunchbacked, deformed body, all those people were waiting to see some charming speaker come and give us true knowledge. What has this king done to bring this kind of a man that we should listen to him? They began to murmur and they said, oh, this was a strange kind of show we are attending. So by the time Ashtabakar came and sat on the chair next to the king, he said, King, what is the price of leather today? King said, sir, I don't understand. I brought you here to give us true knowledge. What has leather to do with it? What has price of leather to do with it? He said, when I was walking, these people were looking at my skin and my body, and I was wondering if they are leather merchants. They are interested in that. Then all the audience thought he has a sense of humor. Then they kept quiet. He said, no, these are royalty. These are my noblemen. These have come from neighboring states also. These are all kings, queens here. They are not merchants of leather merchants or something. Then Ashtabakar said, King, what kind of knowledge do you want? He said, I want true knowledge, real knowledge, and instant knowledge. He said, King, even an instant is some time. What do you call an instant? He said, when I get up in the morning and ride my horse, from the time I put my foot in the stirrup and jump on the saddle, that's an instant. Okay, you can get instant knowledge, but you have to pay a price. King said, Master, I am willing to give everything. All my coffers are open. Just name it, and I will pay any price for true knowledge and instant knowledge. Ashtabakar said, I want you to give me 3 things. He said, Master, you can take 10, 20, whatever you want. Ashtabakar said, I only want 3 things. Give me your body, give me your wealth, and give me your mind. If you've given me these 3, I'll give you instant knowledge. Very strange price tag for the king. But he was such a keen seeker, he agreed. He said, Master, my body is yours, all my wealth is yours, and my mind is yours. Now give me knowledge. And the master said, are you sure you've given these to me? Yes, master. He said, okay, is the body that you have mine now? Can I use it and put it anywhere I like? Yes, master. He said, okay, king, get up from here. And I and my followers left some shoes near the door. Go and sit on those shoes. Which was a kind of a very disgraceful thing for a king to do. But the king got up and walked towards these shoes. Everybody was so surprised at the foolishness of the king that first of all he brings such a deformed person to give a lecture on instant knowledge, and then he's telling him, go and sit on the shoes. So their murmurings again started. The king thought to himself, he said, these people don't know what I want. They're looking at my palaces, they're looking at my wealth and thinking, why am I doing this? When this thought came to him, Ashtabakar shouted from the stage, King, you have no business to think of your palaces and wealth. You already given it to me. He said, oh my God, I forgot that I had given it to the king. They don't belong to me anymore. When you were thinking like that, Ashtabakar shouted, you can't even think whether you gave it to me or not. Your mind you have given to me. And he put his hands like this. He said, I can't even think. And he couldn't think. Ashtabakar gave his grace and he got enlightened. He said, King, you need not sit on the shoes, come back. And he brought him back and he sat on the chair. He said, did you get instant knowledge? He said, yes, sir. Was it within an instant? He said, less than an instant. He said, this knowledge you got because you did not think that the body is yours. You did not think that the wealth is yours. You did not even think the mind is yours. You surrendered all these three. And when one surrenders all these things, one gets instant knowledge. You got a great experience today, King Janak. Now you meditate for 20 years, you'll get the same experience again. Meditation is a slow process. This is the story of King Janak. And when Trilokchand, that engineer from Burma, met the master in Madras, the master told him, have you heard the story of King Janak? And Trilokchand said, yes, sir. He said, I follow the same principle that Ashtabakar follows. Give me your body, give me your wealth, and give me your mind, I'll give you real knowledge. Now, imagine the extent of this man seeking. He said, sir, master, I give you my body, I give you my wealth, and I give you my mind. Give me true knowledge. He said, the master said, let's start with the wealth. How much do you have? He said, I have saved 30,000 rupees. He says, first transfer those 30,000 rupees into my account. I have to build a temple. So I will start with there. Then the next step will be that I'll tell you what to do with the body that you have surrendered to me. The man who was so keen about each rupee transferred his 30,000 rupees to the master account. And then he said, now comes the body. In this body, you have to undergo a certain amount of a surgical procedure in order to do my type of meditation. He said, meditation has to be done through the breathing. The pranayama that I teach, through which the breathing exercise I teach, requires that you breathe, take a breath in and out from one nostril once and second nostril the other time. Alternate. If you cannot alternate the breathing like this, you'll get nowhere. To do that, you can't use your fingers like this because then all the attention has to be inside and not on the fingers. Therefore, you have to do it internally, which means you have to roll your tongue back. And from the tongue inside, you have to move it inside from one nostril to another to control the breathing from one side to the other. For that, your tongue cannot roll back. It's connected with the tendons. The tendons have to be cut. He said, my master asked me, I did it. And he took out his tongue like a snake, big tongue. And he told how he could roll his tongue back. He said, you have to undergo that surgery. And since it's a sacrifice of your body you are making, therefore, it won't be done by a surgeon. I'll do it. And I won't do it with a simple knife. I'll sandpaper it so that you suffer the pain of it as an offering to the master. And this man underwent that pain for a month. Every day he would rub it with that bichubuti. You know that painful plant. And he would rub with that and make it so much, he would shriek and cry. But he underwent the torture for 1 month and his tongue became loose and he could then do the... Then he said, now give me the mind and you have to do this kind of mantra inside. So he taught him. Trilokchand saw some lights and stars and so on. When he told me the story about seeing the lights and stars, I said, if I knock you on the head, you can see the same things. You don't think them to be a very big thing that you can see some lights and stars. When you get knocked on the head, don't you see them? This is not spirituality. Just to see if you red stars inside, you knocked on the head, you get them. I said, what did you get from there? He said, I told him I haven't got what I wanted. And the master told me, that's all I can give. If you want more, you have to wait for another master to come into your life. Eventually, Trilokchand came to great master, was initiated by him, made good progress. But one day we were sitting by the fireside with great master. I was there, Trilokchand was there, I think my dad was there, 5 or 6 people were sitting with great master. When Trilokchand brought up this item, and he told great master, Master, had I known that you are the true master, I would not have given those 30,000 rupees to that guy in Madras. Then it was still on his mind. And great master laughed and said, Trilokchand, you don't know. The day you came to me, I transferred those 30,000 to my account. He said, and he explained, he said, no effort, no sacrifice that you have ever made on the spiritual path goes waste. Whenever the master who can take you further comes up, he takes all that into account and it counts in your favor. So never feel that I was with a wrong master or not a perfect master. This master could not take me anymore, because it is up to your seeking. When you seek more, a master takes you as far as he's gone, and if your seeking is more, automatically the new master will come and take you further. So people, when they ask me, we are still judging which master to follow. I said, don't judge too much, because nobody can judge a perfect living master. You may find many masters, you'll never be able to find if you start judging who is a perfect living master. Let the perfect living master come to you. You don't have to look and find one. He should come to you by coincidence, by chance. He should come to you. He should be able to read that you are a seeker and appear. That's what they say. When a chela is ready, guru appears. They don't say when a chela is ready, a guru, he can find a guru. When a chela is ready, when a disciple is ready, the master appears by coincidence, by chance. And then we suddenly, as we develop relationship, we discover this is it. And still, if we find at the end of the game that this is not what we want to go, but further, perfect living master will come into your life. Nothing to worry. You should never worry about who is your master, how far you've gone, so long as you are going in the right direction. That is going within. Somebody asked me, how do I know a good master to go to? I said, does he say go within? Go. Period. Supposing the master is totally fake, I go that further. I go to that step. That supposing a master is totally fake, he's just putting up all this appearance. But he says, go within, follow. He's giving the right direction. And when you will go within, you will find what else you need. These initial steps are so easy and they are dependent on you. Therefore, anybody giving you the right direction. But if somebody says, go to that river and have a bath and you will get something, or go to that mountain top and you'll get it, I say, I'm not sure if I can recommend that master. But a master who says, go within, is according to me the right master, may not be a perfect master. But if your seeking is perfect, a perfect living master will come into your life. It all depends upon your seeking within. That is the beauty of free will that we have. The only species in the whole existence that has free will is a human being. And a human being can decide, good, bad, should I do it, not do it, deliberate upon it. This ability to have a deliberation on to do it or not to do it, go this way or go that way. This kind of free will doesn't exist with anything else that's created here. Only human beings have this. So that is the beauty, that if you have this free will and seek inside, without shouting outside, seek inside your heart, inside your mind, that I want to go back home. a perfect living master will come into your life and take you back home. It's such a certainty. The system is set up like that. We have set up the system ourselves. We never came here without making an arrangement to go back home. And this is the arrangement that we made. So that is why one should never bother about this thing, about what kind of master I have or not. Of course, a master revealed himself as you go along. It's not that you can immediately know. You can still think, this master does have some, he's enlightened, he knows something. But then when you go in, you find he goes beyond that. You go to these different stages, you see many strange experiences inside. You see there is another world, rulers of that other world, people ruling, like kings rule different kingdoms here. Presidents rule countries, democracies rule these countries. There are rulers of the different regions inside. And when you go there and the respect they pay to your master in your company is amazing. And you say, Master, why are they are the lord of the region? Why are they giving you so much respect? Then the master says, go and check with them. And you go and check with them. And the lords of that regions, of more than one region, say, you don't know who you are going with. We would any time step down from here, go become a human being, to go with this kind of a master that you have. That's the kind of experience you get. There is a little story. In India, we love to tell stories, you know. There's a story of a king. King's story was nice at one time. Now we made the mother, but let me tell you the old story of a king who was very benevolent, wanted everybody to be happy, and he wanted to see that people have a house, people have food, people have everything, and they are well taken care of. So he would disguise himself and go and look around. So one day, he was going around, he said, there is somebody living in this forest, and he seemed to be living under a tree and has no food. So what does he do? They say, no, master, king, he cuts off, he takes the trees and cuts them, chops them off, and he makes logs of them, then he goes to the city and sells them, and then he makes little living out of that. King said, I have great compassion for this man. So he goes to the forest and he says, I want you to have something really great. He says, what are you doing? Can you cut trees? If you can't cut trees, get away from here. The king says, if I told him I'm a king, he's never going to believe it. Yes, I can cut trees. So he began to cut trees. And he said, come on with me. I know where to sell the trees. You'll also make some money. The king goes with him, selling trees. Then the king next day says, look, I have some influence with the king here. I know the guards outside his palace. And if you come with me, I'll introduce you. And you can see the palace from inside. He said, nobody can see it. Those guards are very tough guys. Nobody can see. He says, but I can show you. Come, have some faith. He says, how can I have faith in something that is not possible? Ultimately, the king persuades, let's go at least from a distance. I'll see if a guard will let us come near him. So he goes there, he gives a sign to the guard not to speak. And he says, this man is a friend of mine from the forest. I wanted him to have a peep into the palace. Can you let him have it? So from the little window, I let him see. Wow, I didn't know. You know the guard? That's amazing. And then next time he says, I have contact with the guards. I can let you in actually from the real door. He takes him next time and takes him inside. And he says, wow, what a big place. I never knew such a palace existed in this world. Then the king says, you know, I also know the minister here who is in charge, and he's a friend. He said, no, I don't believe that. If he was a friend, why are you cutting wood with me? I can't believe you're like me. You're just like me. How can you be knowing the minister inside? He says, come, I'll tell you. He takes him secretly inside, cautions the minister, and he says, this is a friend of mine. I just wanted him to meet you. He is very impressed. I can't believe that you know the minister also. And then he says, do you know, actually the minister can take us show the king also. And he says, no, I don't believe that. This I can never believe. The rest you have proved to me, but I can't believe this part. He says, come, let's go, we'll ask him. So he goes and asks the minister if he can give access to the king just for a minute. The minister says, okay, for your sake and your friend's sake, I'll do it. Then he goes in, and the throne is empty, and he says, where is the king? And this man sits down and says, I am the king. Welcome. You are the king? Why didn't you tell me on the first day? He said, you were not even believing that I can know the gods, and now you are saying, why didn't I tell you I'm a king? This is our experience with the perfect living master. We think he may be a little advanced, maybe knowing a little more. As we go, we find ultimately he is the Satpurush in human form. It's a remarkable experience. There's nothing like it. And this story doesn't even do full justice to the actual experience we get. Now imagine, as human beings, we have the capacity through going within to see all these things. Isn't it amazing? And that this opportunity we should not lose. We should not lose the opportunity to find our true home in an easy way while we are living here in a human body. I hope you take benefit from these stories I've told you and take full advantage of the masters who come and help us, and they come and talk from within, and the perfect living master who comes into our life and takes us back right to our true home. Thank you very much. We'll meet again tomorrow at 11 o'clock.